And we're back. Well, pretty close to where we left off as well. I'm just trying to get all of this set up. I want to basically switch seamlessly from Regolith collection that's currently going on into the next. Otherwise, my critters will start starving. That would be bad. And the reason we're doing this, of course, is so that we can get way more Regoliths so that we can feed more voles and support the 100 dupes we're aiming for. Also, we're going to get some carbon dioxide out of it. In fact, quite a bit of carbon dioxide. I was surprised how much carbon dioxide you can get out of this particular contraption. But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. Now I just want to stick in the shipping automation. Now, where's that going? In this one, I couldn't find a way to do it absolutely perfectly. As in, no matter where I place them, there always going to be some overlap. So, for example, we'll place that there. Yeah, that would also overlap. So, one there and say one over here. Yeah. Kind of annoying, but nothing I can do. I prefer to have it perfectly spaced, but if by putting in these little segments here, these two drills can basically take care of themselves. As in, this drill here covers this one, so this one isn't getting covered in Regolith. And then this one actually can cover all the way out to here. This one covers all the way out to there. And they basically just don't have any problems with each other. No overlap, no worries like that. Or there's no chance any of them will end up missing a spot. Yeah, that goes there. Put one right in the middle. Boom. And I'm missing the very edge. You know what? Let's squish this one up a bit so we get the last of it. Yeah, it's perfect. Now, I've learned some valuable lessons from this. Putting this together multiple times, plus other stuff I've learned along the way, I've decided on a slightly different method of getting all of this stuff actually installed. Now, before I used to put in bridges. Actually, we can see it in operation up here. Because this one is active, none of these other... Actually, none of the others are active. Okay, never mind. Not really a great example. Because this is active, the ones behind it can't actually jump onto the line. And I was using bridges to give priority flow. Instead, all we're going to do is something much, much, much simpler. Let's see, one there. Second one there. Done, done, and basically just all the way along do the same thing. Wait, how many is that? One, two, I may have gone too far. I gotta start counting doors again. Basically, this wants to be 8 doors long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's 8 doors. That's all 8 covered. Oh, yeah, perfect. Then all I do is I just grab a shipping rail, and instead of using bridges, I just go like this. Put a rail straight through it. How stupidly simple is that? That basically means when this one is emptying, it'll be flowing along this rail, and this one can't empty because it can't output anything while there's something on the rail. Basically gives me all the joy of bridges with none of the inconvenience. I really wish I'd thought of something like that a lot sooner. Now, we're going to run this out here, and we're going to run it out of here. Okay, second one, we'll go through here. We're just going to have 2. And where are you going to go? Ooh. Say to the left side? Yeah, left side's good. Actually, wait, no. That's silly. The closer we make it to the end, the less rails we have to put in. Smarter plan. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll just stick in the shipping right there. Yeah, that should work fine. Done. Just let me double check. I want to make sure none of these actually overlap. Yeah, but that should get me all the Regolith out of there, and in fact, I'm even going to harvest the iron. What I've started doing up here is I've set these to harvest iron as well, so all the iron that gets picked out of here will follow along on our conveyor rails all the way down here. Actually, I should probably... Have I set those to iron? I think I have. Damn, okay, that's a lot of stuff going down there. Yeah, but iron also goes down here now as well, and this little sweeper up here picks it up and dumps it into the chute, so it ends up down here. It's just a way of collecting all that iron that was accumulating up there. And it's surprising how little iron these things actually pull in. I think it's about 30, 35 kilos a cycle per 16 bunker doors. So 16 bunkers doors worth of space, as in from here all the way over to here, pulls in about 30 to 35 kilos of iron per cycle on average. It's actually pathetically small. Everyone says iron is free and falls from the sky, but you know what? It doesn't really provide you with very much. Now, I want to get everything in here set up before I even start thinking about doing this. The reason being, the moment we turn this on, well, things are going to get awkward. Well, not so much awkward as in, it's going to cut off my Regolith, and I don't want any of my voles starving. So down here is going to be our cooling loop. This is going to run a cooling loop through here to make sure all our machines stay cool. And at the same time, it's going to cool down our carbon dioxide for us. Now, I've put together the bare bones of it here, but just the only things to note is these bottom tiles here I'm making out of insulation, just so I can make sure that it doesn't get too bad. Actually, deconstruct you and you. I want to actually put in some bottle emptiers there because we need to fill this whole sucker full of super coolant. I also need to stick on, deconstruct you. I need to put on a little side project here, a little side cooler. The side cooler is going to cool these metal tiles. Now, 1 second. Now it's starting to come together, as in it's a standard issue icebox right here, but I'm putting on an additional icebox over here. I'm actually going to combine several ideas I've borrowed. Well, yes, every idea in this game is pretty much borrowed from someone else at one point or another, but I'm going to borrow it from some of the base leveling videos that I did. There was a wonderful idea where they basically ran, they had the cooling icebox on the side, and it basically just connected directly into the steam turbine to provide cooling, meaning you didn't actually have to run a loop or do anything like that. It just made it so much simpler. So what I'm going to do is run this diamond block up here and have it tap in there. Actually, to do that, give me some... Actually, I don't need ceramic up here, do I? Yeah, we'll use ceramic, why not? So the ceramic goes up there. And that means this, I'm going to extend this room. Actually, we'll make this room out to there. Yeah. And we'll deconstruct this building. So basically, the chill from this will actually leak straight into this room, meaning I don't have to run any cooling loops, any piping, anything. It just makes things so much simpler. I can't remember whose idea I'm stealing, but thank you very much for that. It makes life so much better. Actually, I will get rid of you for a minute. We're going to have to put a bottle emptier in there and fill this full of coolant as well. Actually, let's get that super coolant rolling. You don't need this much super coolant to do this build. It's just, I've got it, so I don't care. Enable auto bottle. Yeah, these builds are kind of getting a little bit out of control. We've gone well past tutorial stages at this point. We're well into just, we're trying to get 100 dupes and we're going to do some ridiculous stuff. That's sort of where we're at right now. I'm not sure that's what you all signed on for when we started watching some of these, but it's kind of where we've ended up, just due to the delay in the release of the expansion. Oh. Yeah, I just poured 400 kilos of super coolant off into space. Yep. Okay, we'll put you there, and we will cancel you. Yep, drop that on the ground. I never learn, do I? We'll put you back to getting filled up. Actually, we'll select. Okay then, let's just ignore all that very, very expensive mistake and move on. Actually, while we're at it, we're going to have to put in some drywall here as well. Drywall is probably the one thing that slows you down the most when you get to space. I can't remember the amount of stuff I have drywalled at this point. It's gotten to ridiculous levels. Now, we'll just cut this out here for a bit and I'll come back when this is just about ready to go some more. Well, when I've done a little bit more building on this project. These projects are pretty straightforward. It's just drywalling is the only really additional task you have to do when it comes to these. One quick tip, actually, while I get around to filling this, or going through the slow process of dumping supercoolant in here. I was worried about losing supercoolant through that open space tile there, the vacuum space. But I figured I'd just stick a mesh tile in there. It doesn't matter if any liquid occupies the square. Mesh tiles don't bleed anything into space. For example, like over here you can see there's a bunch of hydrogen, and it doesn't bleed through space through the mesh tile. So I don't think liquid will either. So this should allow me to fill this up without fear of actually, well, breaking it. Well, that's the theory. Let's see how it works out. So sanity prevailed in the end, and I decided not to fill this with supercoolant, considering this is not going to be a very active tank. And I was taking a look at my actual supply of supercoolant, which is, where is it? It's decent, but I don't want to go wasting it. I've still got to build another one of these things. Well, I'm still going to be building some other stuff that requires it. So yeah, maybe I won't fill this all with supercoolant. I mean, it literally is made of gold. It's liquid gold you're pumping in here. I mean, some say oil is liquid gold, but no, supercoolant is literally made out of gold. I do have to do another few bits and bobs. I'm going to have to put in. Oh, actually, I'm going to have to put in a dropper in there so I can drop in a couple 100 kilos of water. But this is going to basically run a big cooling loop. There's the start of it here. And this cooling loop is going to run up here and around the top. We're going to fill that full of supercoolant as well. So I do want to start actually maybe not throwing supercoolant at everything so much. I can't help myself, it seems, though. Anyway, I'll cut back in once we've got this tank filled and we've got this all prepped and we're almost ready to... And I can show you where we're going to put in the cooling loops and have a quick run over what's happening. Okay, so this icebox is starting to come together quite nicely. I'm just about to dump the water in here. All we need is about 200 kilos to act as steam so that we can recycle it through the steam turbine and basically delete heat. Down here we've got a big long string of supercoolant. This supercoolant is here to just store up a whole bunch of chill. We're going to need a lot of chill because we're going to be chilling an awful lot of carbon dioxide. This over here is sort of a separate tank that we're going to set to minus 54 degrees. This is going to be to keep the carbon dioxide from flashing back into, well, carbon dioxide gas. We're going to turn the carbon dioxide into liquid. I probably should have mentioned that. And to keep it from flashing, we're going to actually run chill loops through the bottom here where we're catching all our carbon dioxide to make sure all the carbon dioxide stays good and healthy and, you know, does what we tell it to. Now, sticking some igneous rocks there. Get all the debris out of here. We're going to have to close this up shortly. But yeah, this here is what I was talking about. We're going to chill this box down here. This is going to be our primary ice box. This here is going to be set to minus 54 degrees, which means it'll engage this door to drain chill out of there when it needs it. And this chill is going to spread up here and get radiated into this room. Oh, 1 second. Put you to sleep only. Perfect. Now, we'll just get rid of that. That's most of the basics done. Now, up here... Ooh, actually, can dupes get up there? No, dupes cannot. No. Let's see. Actually, yeah, that's fine. We'll just put a ladder up there. Ladder across the top. Now, up here, this is going to be our catchment area. All the CO2 from up here is going to fall down. CO2 is pretty weak sauce when it comes to thermal conductivity, but its specific heat capacity is not horrendous. It's 0.846. On the right side, the specific heat capacity of, say, supercoolant is 8.44. So supercoolant has 10 times the heat capacity, meaning we can apply about 140 degrees of cooling to 10 kilos of carbon dioxide per second with this little setup down here. So we can cool a lot of carbon dioxide if needs be. And we probably will need to cool that much carbon dioxide. But next up, we want to put in some radiant pipes in here. So this cooling loop here goes down through here, and it's going to cool everything to 54 degrees. So have it run up there. Ooh, actually, run up there, right back down, and all the way across. Yes, we're going to burn an enormous amount of gold. This basically allows us to chill this entire plate all the way to the edge, even over to this dark zone over here. You can actually build inside that one tile there. You can actually build inside that, but you can't really see it very well. No, and then we just bring it back, and honestly, it doesn't matter what pipe it's in. The pipe will eventually chill down to whatever temperature we set it to. Ooh, which also reminds me, there's one other thing I want to do. I want to start including more bridges. Someone was pointing out that the more bridges you have... no, let me explain this better. Bridges basically split up pipe groups. So if you have one big long pipe, it's bad. If you split the pipe group up with lots of little bridges along the way, it basically reduces calculations. That's what they're saying. I have a lot of very long pipes everywhere, so I just want to see if this makes any difference. If anyone's actually done any testing to determine this, that'd be nice to know. If you've got any information on it, I'd love to hear about it. What was it down here? Oh yeah, we're going to hook you up. Yep. Perfect. Now, I just got to dump supercoolant into that loop. Well, later. For the time being, I want to get this cooler up and running. Yeah, that will actually keep all of that at about 54 degrees, minus 54 degrees, which should stop any carbon dioxide liquid that lands there from flashing back to carbon dioxide gas. Now, down here, okay, you're finished, so we are going to seal you up. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use insulation here. Yeah, why not? Actually, what am I doing? That's just a waste of insulation. I'll use ceramic. Ceramic is plenty fine for our purposes, and we're not going to really bleed much heat anyway. So, once that's done, I can start actually running the big cooling loop. The big cooling loop... Actually, I can't run the big cooling loop just yet. Oh, and I've already made a mistake, haven't I? See, the mistake I made is I need to run these two pipes up here, and that's going to be in the way, so you all have to go. Yep, you're gone, you're gone. And give me a gold pipe. You can connect together. It slightly shortens the cooling loop, but I think it'll be fine. There's some diamond temperature shift plates in there to help with the temperature transfer anyway. Oh, and that's another thing I want to do. These pipes are going to exchange heat with these tiles here, so I'm going to deconstruct them and replace them with ladder tiles. Ladder tiles won't interact with them. They're not classified as solid, so yeah, if I replace these, I won't be dumping any chill into these igneous rock tiles and wasting the cold. Okay, so once that's done and that's tidied up, oh yeah, no, we can actually do some of the plumbing now. Though I can't do an awful lot of it, to be honest. We're going to have to start using insulation from about here on up, because that's going to be interacting with stuff. But before it gets to that, we can just use whatever we like. It doesn't really matter out here because in vacuum, it's not actually going to affect the temperature transfer. Though I will have to replace all of these segments here with ladders as well. Actually, we'll press both of you first. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just cut it out here for a bit and we'll jump back in a second once I've got some more of this done up. Actually, before I fire this up, there's one thing I've forgotten. I have to actually pressurize this thing with gas, so it actually has something to drain the heat out of the steam turbine with. I think for that, we're just going to run right over here. I believe I have an oxygen line that goes to telescope? Telescope? Yes, telescope. Telescope I'm not using anymore, but so in that case, no one needs the oxygen. We'll siphon that in there, and we can actually start filling up that area with oxygen. Oh, actually, I should probably get ready to seal that up first. So let's maybe prioritize the pieces that are in there. Yeah, it's a good idea. Then we can seal that sucker up and actually just start pumping in the gas. And we're actually up to new recruit number 15 over here. Wait, 17? Wait, no, that's the wrong one. I want this one. Wait a minute. I think I tried to hire him. Didn't I hire someone like him last time? Actually, I did hire 15. No, this is new recruit 16. Interior decorator, diver's lung, and unconstructive. I don't care if they can't build. I just want more dupes with diver's lung. And there's nothing in there that will cause them to be bad. Yeah, this brings us up to 35 plus 6, 41 dupes. 41 dupes. I'm actually getting pretty lucky on the rolls right about now. Anyway, back in a wee bit. And of course, I forgot to put in the automation wire, because of course I did. So I have to crack this whole thing open and actually stick in the automation wire that just goes from there to there. Yeah, this is going to take a minute, and I got to figure out how to not let the water in. I might actually. No need to watch me go through this enormous grind. I'll figure out some way of getting in there. I may have to just mop up the water and reinstall the water again afterwards. Otherwise, I'm going to drop that water down on top of the supercoolant. Anyway, back to you in a minute. Yeah, I just mopped the water out. It's fine. It's fine. To be expected, I always make one or two mistakes anytime I'm building, well, anything. Mopped it up, cracked it open, fixed it up. Now we're going to seal it back up, re-add in the water, and get back going. Yeah, we'll just have a little skip forward in time here. So after a few minor setbacks, we're just about ready to fire this up. I'll just hook in the oxygen here now that we've actually got it sealed, and then we can actually get the coolant going in here. Well, this will cool this box will cool this box, this will cool this area to make sure the steam turbine doesn't overheat. Down here we're going to put in some supercoolant whenever they get around to delivering me some supercoolant. You guys gonna get on that? Oh, enable auto bottle, that's probably what I should have done. Alright, so that'll allow us to dump supercoolant into the loop. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab a pipe, and we're just going to grab this here, and we're going to dump it on right across there. And God damn it. Okay, well I can't dump it on right across there. That is the intake. So what'll happen is it'll intake it and then it won't do anything because it's switched off by this automation. And that automation is off because there's no liquid in that pipe. So I need to actually put in the liquid over here. Second. Yeah. Slight change in plan. Plumbing. We'll deconstruct that. Then we'll run it over there and we can dump it in at this end. No big deal. No big deal. A minor inconvenience. There we go. So we just hop that across there, feed that in, and then we have supercoolant floating around that loop. I should probably... No, I won't shut this off until I've got a bit more supercoolant. I'm going to need a lot of supercoolant here. This is going to be a rather large loop we're running, and okay, this small loop will fill it no problems. That'll be nice and quick, but I will grab a second load right now because I am going to need a lot more supercoolant before this is all said and done. As stated previously, this is a ridiculously over-the-top build. Well, not ridiculously over-the-top, just a very late game build. If you haven't automated rockets, this is not something you're probably going to be thinking of doing. And how are we looking? Come on. Finish that last one. Alright. And this is set to if the supercoolant is above minus 240 degrees. If it's above minus 240, as in it's say 100 degrees, then it will activate this machine, which will tell it, hey, chill it down some more. And there we go. Fully loaded. Now I just got to reverse the flow on this and send it back to the pump. Actually, I wonder would that work. 1 second, I actually want to try something here. Instead of I'll disable the pump for a minute. Can that flow through the green? Yeah, I just want to see if reversing the flow and actually will that liquid actually push all the way back through here and dump out. Just would be a convenient way instead of me deconstructing the pump every time. I think that might work. Hell yeah, it works. Yeah, that's actually a convenient way to get the liquid back in the tank. Now, this does have a long way to go. I have to chill this tank down to minus 240 before I can move on. Well, before I can proceed with the complete changeover, so I'm going to let this run in the background. And I'm also going to dump in some more oxygen. There's not enough oxygen in there. What's the temperature getting up to? Dangerously higher than I'd like. There's more chill being applied into here, but is it enough just yet? You know what? More oxygen. I don't think there was enough oxygen in that pipe to fill it up too much. I think, what about pressure we got in there? You know what? I'll sort that off screen. I'm basically just going to dump in some more gas in there. That'll hopefully counteract any heat issues, because if that locks up, I'm going to have problems. In the meantime, I'm going to let that cool that all the way down to icy cold and do some minor changes around here and get ready for decommissioning this entire row. It shouldn't take too long. Well, screen time wise, it won't take too long. Now, while this is working its way up to operating temperature, what I want to do is actually start prepping this place for demolition. Now, first thing I got to do is get rid of this cooling loop. This cooling loop is going to cause me problems if I leave it in. So let's just slice it off. So this is where we're going to be putting a wall through. So we'll just, yeah, right there I suppose seems like the best bet. We'll just plop that there, and then we'll be left with this loop here, which we have to demolish. Though if I do demolish that, it's going to fall down on top of these. You know what? I don't care. We can mop it up. That'll be the least of our worries. In fact, let's just demolish the whole lot of it right now. Everyone still has access to this area because of the there was a small meteor shower that caused a few minor issues, so I restored access for all my duplicates to this area. But once that's demolished, I'm going to be on a timer though, because some of these drills will start to overheat. They're still made of steel. These are the steel drills that were put in a very, very, very long time ago. Yeah, how's that looking? It's still rotating, but not very fast. I think the problem here is that there's a little bit too much liquid in the system, so it's clogging it up. We'll just deconstruct that, replace it, and that slight loss of petroleum should give us enough space that will actually rotate properly. Now, where's that petroleum going? Yeah, a whole bunch of it will fall out the vacuum. I can mop up the rest that's left over. Next up, I'm going to actually have to finish in the drywall backing all the way along the bottom, and then I'm just going to have to start getting ready to rip this sucker apart. What the hell, Bradley? I thought you were on my team. How did you even get up there? It just makes no sense. It boggles the mind. Yeah, we're going to have to get you some emergency out of there right the hell now. Please tell me that liquid is going somewhere where it's not going to end up contaminating something. Oh, wait, come on. Get Bradley out of there. How? How did they get... I suppose... Oh, Regolith dropped and forced them up. So the doors opened, Regolith dropped down, they ended up... Okay, you better be able to get back to base. Yeah, let's have a quick... Let's have a quick follow. Now, just imagine the Benny Hill theme song playing as this goes on. Whoa. Trapped up there? Still managed to do all of that. Where did the mess go? Mess should have dropped straight down, being dealt with by the pump. Yeah, and there it is. There's the mess. 745 grams of polluted water dumped straight into the system. I love it when a plan comes together. That worked out perfectly, that little mess thing. I wasn't even going to put it in. I thought it'll never happen anymore, but you know what? It will. It always will happen. Down here, I'm just putting in the power grid. Quick tip when you're putting in one of these. everything here draws 120 watts. The bunker doors, the sweepers, the loaders, and the drills, they're all 120 watts. So you can place 16 of them on one 2 kilowatt wire, and it won't go over. It won't go above 2 kilowatts. I think it's 1.9 something kilowatts is what it'll draw. So 16 devices. These bunker doors are 16 bunker doors wide, which means one power wire will run all of them. 16 bunker doors wide at the top as well. So basically, I can run this whole thing off 3.5 wires. This wire here will of course be short. It's only drawing 720. Though I think I'm going to put a couple of space scanners on that, just because. Anyway, we're still waiting on this beast to actually cool down enough. We're still a long way from the minus 240, so I'm going to do some more skipping forward, tidying up, and general just making sure everything's sorted. Actually, how are we looking on printables? Yeah, no one knew. Yeah, we'll print some sand. Why not? Actually, how are we looking for filtration medium? Yeah, at some point I'm going to actually have to start setting aside regolith for the rest of the base. I'm living off sand for now. Yeah, never mind. Hey, I'll just cut forward and cut back in when we have some more work to do. So the cooling's taking a lot longer than anticipated. Well, okay, I kind of knew it would take a long time. Getting down that chill is, well, we learned that with the sour gas boiler anyway. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to run this piping up. Now, how high I need to bring it, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to actually have to go back and consult my diagram. 1 second. Okay, I think I got it. Third row down from the top, I actually want to run this one. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, about here. So we're going to start a cooling loop going all the way across here made out of gold. We're going to have a second cooling loop coming back here. That's going to be the return flow. And I want to make sure these are as stretched out as possible. Did I make those out of radiant pipes? Please tell me I made those out of radiant. Okay, they're all... you should not be radiant. You should be ceramic. Yeah, so the plan here is to get insulated pipes all the way up to here, and then hook them up about there into radiant. That's insulated, so you go like that, and you're going to hook it to the radiant pipes. And then it's a big long string of radiant pipes all the way to the end. We're basically trying to chill down all the carbon dioxide that gets trapped in here. Actually, we'll put in a bridge here just to break flow. If that calculation thing is correct, a few bridges won't hurt. It's not really going to affect cooling that much anyway. Now I'm using gold here because gold is plentiful and I don't want to waste thermium. I've already used a lot of thermium for everything else anyway. That here will be our cooling loop. Ooh, it's going to chug a bit there as it actually builds the pipe segments. So this icebox here will get chilled down. Actually, we'll complete that loop there. Cancel that. Alright, so this icebox here will cool down. Then this cooling loop is going to come around here, pass through these diamond tiles to soak up some chill, pass up here, and go all the way around the top. So the coldest liquid will be going along the top and hopefully chilling any CO2 down so it actually condenses. And then as it returns, it should hopefully condense some more CO2. Worst case scenario should pre-chill some CO2 so that by the time it hits the top row, it actually condenses. Then all the way back down here, goes back through, flows through here, and the whole process starts again. Now this one here is for catching the CO2. This cooling loop here, it's only going to be cooling down to 54 degrees. The reason it's cooling down to 54 degrees is it's going to be passing through this bottom layer of gold tiles all the way along the bottom. And the reason for that is I think we got some carbon dioxide here, still pumping it in. Condensation point 48.1. So it condenses at 48.1, but if we check this up here, where is it? Give me liquid carbon dioxide. We don't want it to freeze, so it freezes solid at 56.5. So that's why we're freezing it down to 54, 55. I'll have to double check my notes. I think it's 55 anyway, just to be on the safe side. And that basically keeps the CO2 from flashing back into CO2 gas in here. And then it'll all flow down here and collect in this point. At that point, we can pump it off and do whatever we want with it. It's just a handy way of collecting us some excess CO2 so that we can dump it into our slicksters, enlarge our slickster farms, get more oil, get more natural gas, get more water, basically. And at the same time, we're going to have a nice big collection pit here for regolith. Normally, regolith can only accumulate for 2 tiles up here. We're going to let it accumulate it up several tiles in here if necessary, before dropping down, mining it out, and sending it off to our shovels. Anyway, there's nothing really much else we can do here until this actually finishes its warm-up, or cool-up? Cool down? Well, until it's ready to go, there's nothing really much else we can do here at this point. So I'll just cut this out here for the time being. Okay, that's taking way too long. I'm not hanging around for that. I'm going to start this little side project in the meantime. This naked scanner has to move. The reason being, I'm going to be expanding this regolith collection area so I can get as much regolith as possible, and it's going to stop about there. So all of this regolith from over here, this whole build over here is going to eventually reach over to this side. When it does, well, this is going to have to be moved, so I might as well move this now, and that way I'll at least have the scanner up and running while I'm decommissioning this section. So I've already started the production over here, though it's going to be a slightly different design. At the moment here you see I've got these mesh tiles here, but everything here is made of niobium, so I'm just going to put a thin layer of petroleum right here, and then that's it. I'll fill in those mesh tiles with bunker tiles once the petroleum is down. And since the petroleum is there, it'll exchange heat with these devices and the actual bunker tiles, and the bunker tiles will be constantly hammered with meteors at about 300, 320 degrees, which is plenty chill enough for these things to actually handle. So they'll actually be meteor cooled. Yes, we're going to use meteor cooling on our drills, because, well, why not? But first I'll just wall this in, then I can tear this whole thing down with impunity. Oof. But yeah, my scanner range will suffer a bit, my rockets may crash. Well, may crash through the bunker doors, but that's highly unlikely. It's very infrequent and usually takes hundreds of cycles for that to happen. But yeah, I'll just get this sorted. I should probably get this all up and running long before the icebox is ready to rumble. Yeah, looks kind of chaotic right now, but there's method to the madness. It's sort of coming together. I'm basically just copy pasting it from the other side. It seems to be kind of working. I will have to put in some mesh tiles to do things, but I think this should work out about right, and it should actually come out to just about the right size, and I won't have to demolish my rockets. I might actually be able to keep my whole rockets going through this even when I do get up to 100 dupes, if I do this right. With me with a little bit of luck as well, actually. Yeah, no, people are going to entomb themselves. Get dupes, maybe take out the ground floor first. But I'll just skip forward a bit more. The icebox is still not ready, but we're starting to look like we'll have our naked scanner moved quite shortly. Not pretty, but it's getting to where it needs to be. And thankfully this will be completely maintenance free, unlike the previous version which required a little bit of cooling. But yeah, in fact the cooling loop is still there from the old one. I think I'll actually use some of the droplets of petroleum from that just to actually put a medium down for these. Once, of course, I finish off the top layer. That was actually relatively painless. And we've got another diver's lung for the team. That's number 18, and that brings us up to 36 plus 6 in the right, 42. So we're up to 42 dupes. All we need is another 58. This may take a little time. Anyway, well, I'm still working on this naked scanner. Should be done shortly, and we can get to actually turning on the regolith harvesting. So the transfer of control is almost complete. Now what I've done here is I've actually just I've Frankensteined the actual cooling loop that was going around here and just made sure it passed all the drills. Now that it's passed all of them, all I have to do is just deconstruct one pipe segment over all of them. That's it. That will drop 10 kilos of oil right on that spot. That 10 kilos of oil will hopefully... okay, I mistimed that one. That one's not going to get up top. I'll have to do a little something about that. But yeah, that's the general gist. So you can see little drops of oil there. That will actually allow the heat transfer between them and the bunker tiles beneath them. And those bunker tiles are going to get, well, they're going to end up with regolith on top of them. So that should hopefully keep everything nice and chill. And yeah, that's what I was afraid of, that oil didn't go up there. But general gist is that just put a few drops of petroleum and you're good to go. I even got rid of the mesh tiles because I realized this is the vacuum of space, and any liquid that does make it past the drills will immediately evaporate anyway, so not really a big deal. All in all, probably one of my smaller mistakes in the builds I've been doing today. Anyway, I'll just finish this off and then we can get back to doing the regolith capture. I don't know whether I'm just noticing the printables more and actually clicking on them, or maybe I'm just getting really good rolls, but that's 19 new recruits since we started this, so yeah, we're up to 43. Still not great. I'd prefer to get to the 50 mark sooner rather than later, but yeah, I think we're doing pretty well this run. This is almost finished. I'm just doing a bit of tidy up and I'm moving the shipping rail for this. For this one, I am running the shipping rails actually through these. I want to see if this will actually work out. Basically, so long as this is outputting, none of these can output, so it should work? Well, we'll see what happens. That's just going to feed down in there, and I'm just going to deconstruct the old one. This is actually giving me back an awful lot of iron ore. I'd actually dumped a huge amount into the shipping rails, and this should free up a lot, especially since I'm not using the bridges anymore. Bridges are actually 400, I believe. How much do the bridges cost? Yeah, bridges are 400, conveyor rails are only 100. So this modification is actually saving me a little bit of resources while I'm at it. Anyway, this is almost ready to be opened up. I just got to do a little bit of tidy up and get rid of these old pipes. The shortening of this cooling loop means that there is just so much excess petroleum in these pipes that I do not need, so the whole thing's just gonna go. No more pipes required anymore. This whole thing is now space cooled. Well, meteor cooled. It is the joy of space metals. They make things so much simpler. Anyway, cut this out here and come back in when we've got the when we've got it ready to roll. And welcome to the grand opening, or the grand reopening of the naked scanner. This is actually going to become my only scanner, I'm thinking. I'm actually going to decommission all the rest. Getting by with one scanner should be doable if I take a... Yeah, there's some sneaky little things I can do to make it work. At the moment, what's the quality? Oh, that means the other scanner's not working, which means it's closed the doors, which means there's probably... No, it hasn't closed the doors. Why is the other scanner not doing anything? Hmm. Interference from near... Okay, you're at 100%. Oh, yes, the other one is still blocked because I haven't actually, decommissioned the roof as of yet. But soon. The icebox is still not ready yet. It's taking God knows how long. In fact, for the second one of these, I'm going to start commission. I'm going to build the icebox first, then start working on everything else. It takes way too long to get one of those up and running. In my defense, this is my first time building the CO2 capture / regolith capture build in an actual playthrough. So I didn't realize how long it would take for it to cool down. Now, and then we can just decommission this junk. So that's basically it. I think we've managed to actually remove this entire thing from one side to the other, and that should be the end of it. All right, you can also decommission those. Yep, keep going. Go on, you can do it. No, think about it. If you time this just perfectly, you can actually get one dupe to decommission the entire stairs as they go across. Though, yeah, they're getting a little bit confused at this point. The game's been gone a little bit long and there's an awful lot of stuff going on. Speaking of which, I am running out of time. It's getting rather late and I have stuff to do tomorrow, so I can't be staying up and going too crazy at this. Now, let's have a quick check on the icebox over here. How are we looking? Yep, still not even close. I think I'm going to have to cut this one out here, unfortunately. We'll come back to this in the next episode on Friday, and we'll finish it off. I don't care. I'll basically get this prepped. I can let this run in the background, and eventually when this is ready to go, we can just hook this all up. It's actually pretty quick to set up. Well, I'm going to say it's pretty quick to set up, but I don't trust myself. The reason being, you can just basically cut all the way across here and just replace some stuff. And no, you need to go away. Go across here, and it should be just a case of decommissioning the old stuff and letting this new stuff take over and hooking up the power. That should be it. Oh, and I'll have to run an automation wire all the way over from the new scanner. I'm not going to use this one. This one's going to be decommissioned and replaced as well. But apologies we didn't get that other build finished, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. Hope you enjoyed, and good luck.